to hunt a supervillain.
Hell no.
With Season 2 coming to an abrupt end, not to mention it was much shorter than the first season, fans and viewers have been left reeling due to the massive cliffhanger the show stopped at. Premiering in February 2019 on DC Universe, Doom Patrol has been adapted into television by Jeremy Carver, who's known for his work as the writer and producer of CW's longtime running series, Supernatural. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. It stars Diane Guerrero as Crazy Jane, who suffers from a multiple personality disorder and houses 64 distinct identities inside of her. April Balby as the graceful and elegant Rita Farr, who has trouble maintaining her human form lest she turns into a gelatinous blob. Brendan Fraser and Riley Shanahan as the upfront Cliff Steele, whose consciousness is transferred into the body of a robot, therefore earning him the moniker Robot Man. Matt Bomer and Matthew Zook sharing the character of Negative Man, a former US pilot who had the unfortunate accident of being not only attacked, but also latched onto by the negative spirit. And finally we have Dr. Niles Calder, aka the Chief, our unlikely hero savior who accepted and sheltered them in his residence at the Doom Manor, not only to find out he's the one responsible for their accidents. In contrast to the first season that has 15 episodes, Season 2 only has 9 episodes, which were cut short due to the global health situation that we experienced in 2020. So for today's episode, we will be discussing Doom Patrol Season 2's ending and storyline explained. Just a heads up to all you viewers out there that today's video contains a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the finale of Season 2 yet and don't want to be spoiled, then it's best to keep away. Introducing the Chief's daughter, Dorothy Spinner. So in Season 2, a new character was introduced to the show in the form of a little girl with a singular, distinct feature. Her face looks similar to an ape's. This girl, Dorothy Spinner, is a key figure in this season. Dorothy starts Season 2 where she's caged as the ape-faced girl in a circus back in 1927, who's forced to entertain the crowd with her summoned creature. When the creature was about to be punished by the ringleader, a voice calls out to Dorothy to make a wish. She did so, and the next thing she knows, everyone in the circus was killed off except Niles Calder. This was the key moment when Niles knew the girl, his daughter, has a very powerful ability that if used for evil might signal the end of the world. It became a well-known fact that Chief built the Doom Patrol for her sake, and even made up his mind to make himself immortal since he feared that if he died, Dorothy's grief may be too great that may unleash an insurmountable power to the world. Will Jane solve the mysteries within herself? With the rest of the Doom Patrol aiding the Chief and Dorothy in restraining the Candlemaker, Jane dives within herself to solve several growing mysteries that have been plaguing her as of late. In the finale, we see Jane re-emerge from the well to reclaim her role as the primary personality to protect Kay. The reason she and the other personalities were formed to protect Kay. Jane has been skeptical of Miranda's persona since the latter tends to be manipulative aside from having a secretive nature. When Miranda pushed Jane down the well, she saw how Miranda came to be and how she ended up. In 1969, Miranda was the primary at the time, and she met with an older man named John, whom she fell in love with. Blinded by love, she forgot her priority of protecting young Kay Chalice. And ultimately, she ended up being played by John. With Kay being exposed to sexual assault, the other personalities removed Miranda from her primary status. Jane then steps forward to protect Kay, making her the primary, whereas Miranda, in her heartbroken state, throws herself into the well. The other personalities and Jane assumed that Miranda survived the fall when she reappeared, but that's not entirely the case. Kay, while roaming the underground subway tunnels of her mind, discovers Jane's stop, which is already boarded up. As she turns around, she comes face to face with Miranda, and Kay straightforwardly asks, "You're not Miranda, are you?" To which Miranda replies, "No." Who is the entity posing as Miranda? It can be assumed from this that it's another entity of Kay's mind, and is believed to be the daddy personality from the well. If that turns out to be true, then we could look forward to Season 3 with a confrontation between him, the root of young Kay's trauma, and Jane, the protector born from all the trauma young Kay suffered. Another interesting take from this personality is that it could be a manifestation of the Candlemaker. Remember how the villain was able to break through Kay's mind and fought off several other personalities, ultimately killing Baby Doll? It's not a far-fetched idea, but we'll see how it unfolds in the upcoming season. What will happen to the team? Admittedly, we all know they're not really heroes, more like anti-heroes, but is it too much to ask to formulate a plan before diving headfirst into a fight? But then again, that's the appeal of superheroes, right? Bursting head onto the fight? In the final episode entitled Wax Patrol, which kind of foreshadowed what's gonna happen to our unlikely heroes, the gang rejoins the Chief and Dorothy to contain the menacing entity that's been wanting to let loose from Dorothy's mind, the Candlemaker. The gang heads directly to the carnival where they're welcomed by the newly released Candlemaker, voiced by veteran actor Lex Lang, and the carnival grounds are entirely covered in wax. And that's not all. This villain conjured the Doom Patrol's childhood imaginary friends, which lures them before becoming mental illusions on the team. Deciding to split up to locate Dorothy and the Chief, the gang was easily caught by the Candlemaker individually. Larry was the first to fall entirely wrapped in wax, while Cliff faces a fellow profanity-laying Jesus that doomed him. Vic faces a cowboy version of his father. The only difference is that this version is affirming, and we finally have Rita, who faces a horrifying paper doll who shares her mother's eyes. The gang did put up a good fight fight against their own demons, but alas, they were defeated by the Candlemaker's spawns. Will Dorothy be brave enough to tackle the Candlemaker on her own? I mean, it's a kind of do or die situation, right? But given how she's the heroine of this story, of course, she needs to face the Candlemaker on her own. We'll just see how the story will play out on how she'll defeat the villain, or will there be some kind of divine intervention that will aid her in this fight? But like every other Doom Patrol, this predicament wouldn't have taken place if the chief had exhibited good parenting skills. Rather than care and nurture Dorothy and help her control her powers, he tucked her away from the world, which not only stunted her growth as a person, but also prolonged the problem. Not only that, he even dragged other people in this whole mess that altered their lives forever. So here's to all the parents who are doing a good job raising their kids. Metaphorically, this fight also symbolizes how Dorothy will proceed on to life after the event takes place. As we're all aware, her father hid her from the world for fear of her powers. Some kind of dad, right? And as a result, she lived in a sheltered bubble where she constantly lives on her toes. Or will she finally lose sight of the shore to discover new lands and learn to take the reins of her own life? It's a quite interesting development in all honesty, since we have a young girl who's been 11 for over a century, so it might be hard for her to break her sheltered life unless a life or death moment is presented in front of her, which will subject her to either change or remain the same. Adapt to survive, Dorothy. It's the survival of the fittest out here. The season finale was not supposed to be the finale. As we said before, season 1 and this season have a major gap in episodes, with season 2 having 6 fewer episodes from before. This made it difficult for the team, hence the finale for season 2 wasn't exactly how they planned it out to be, but given the situation, it was inevitable and left the audience and fans reeling from the cliffhanger. The show's executive, Jeremy Carver, shares how the global health situation affected the show's production, making it run a few episodes short of how they intended it. As a result, the team opted for a different ending. As said by Carver himself, "We knew we were facing a potential shutdown while working on episode 9, so we were able to do a bit of a pivot and make sure that the episode 9 would be just as satisfying of a conclusion to the season as if we had moved on to episode 10. He shared with TV Line, "There were probably a few more loose ends than there would have been if we had gone all the way through episode 10, but we were very happy with how we were able to structure it to give us a satisfying end to the season. Not to worry though, since season 3 received a green light for filming and production, so all we need to do is wait until a ragtag bunch of heroes make a comeback." And that's it for today's episode on Doom Patrol Season 2's storyline and ending explained. Currently filming and production have resumed for season 3, so if all goes well and the proper protocols and procedures are followed amid the global health situation, let's hope it doesn't get worse, it's safe to say that we may be seeing season 3 premiere before 2021 ends. Since filming and production are still underway, there's still no available trailer for season 3, but no worries, we will let you know as soon as we get wind of it. If you want to see more of this content, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.